it seems that that in France they're going pretty hard right. Certainly, the first round of voting would suggest that's in the lead at the moment. In America, after that debate, there are many saying it's sort of, well, there are many, I don't want to exaggerate. There are some saying that Biden doesn't have a chance. If that was the case, that would go kind of pretty hard right. And we'd like to know in general what you think that means, what that tells us, but also what does it mean for us? You know, like in New Zealand, we're always, when people land on the plane, we always go, oh, what do you think of New Zealand? It's the first thing we ever ask anyone. It's a bit like that in one of those, how's it going to impact us, Geoffrey? That's what we really want to know. Sir.
Look, I think the centre is collapsing all around us. And in New Zealand, we had our election last year, and you saw that happen. You saw the smaller parties do pretty well. You saw a lukewarm vote, really, for National. It wasn't the big sweeping victories of old. And when you look at France, you see the National Rally doubling its vote, 34% in those first round of elections on Sunday. It was 18% 2 years ago. Even in the UK, like you're talking about Labour going to do really well, and they probably will have a landslide, right, towards Labour, but it's being supercharged by vote splitting because they have first past the post, and you have Nigel Farage's Reform UK party there on the right. That's splitting the right vote.
Yeah.
So it's not showing up. They probably won't win many, if any, seats, Reform. Maybe they get a couple if they're lucky. But Labour will do very well out of it, but it's more, it's more coincidental in a sense. I don't think there's
It's a byproduct,
huge enthusiasm for Labour, right? In the
Yeah.
United Kingdom, there's some enthusiasm because there has been 14 years of Tory rule, and if you're only, in a two-party system, your only option is the other party. So voters kind of have to get enthused about Labour because what's the serious alternative? Even if they are not of, that persuasion, they might vote Labour just to get rid of Tory. So then you look at the United States, and of course, it's Trump once again, 8 years on from 2016. And it really should be an easy win for Joe Biden this year. If you look at the stock market, it's at record highs and economic growth, but yet it's inflation and the cost of living, and people do not feel wealthier in the slightest. We've seen these cost of living pressures here in New Zealand, and how everyone's very grumpy at the moment, to put it quite simply. Everyone feels very battered. We got through the pandemic, but things didn't get any better really after the pandemic. Things got harder, if anything, with rampant inflation, and it's been like that all around the world. And one of the responses that a lot of voters have had is to just vote out of frustration for the fringes, because they want their leaders to take notice and to make life better for them, and that's just not happening. So the centre is failing. Macron is failing in France, Emmanuel Macron, in Britain, in the United States, in New Zealand, and I think that's the real common thread here. Populism is back with a vengeance. It was a big topic, going back to 2015, 2016 with Brexit and with the Trump victory, but it's never gone away, and it's only got worse in a sense because of, or it's become stronger because of the pandemic, because of inflation, these cost of living pressures. And I think in the end, you've got to address the root causes here. And there's no use sort of saying, Trump's evil, or, you shouldn't be voting for the far right in France. I mean, the other parties, they're looking to gang up on the far right and say, we won't work with you. And okay, yes, in the short term, maybe that's some kind of answer. But I think in the longer term, you need to provide those voters with a positive solution, and you want them to vote for you, and not just against, against the populists. So, there are lots of questions in my mind about all of these things, but I think they are all connected in the end.